Hey, Mom and Dad. I'm so excited to talk about Magic. I found the deck. It was actually on my chair out in the living room. Um, so it's there are still cards I need, but I know the typical metagame, and I'll be able to tell you what cards I know are problematic. And I'll put the deck list in the description. Um, I'm really trying to figure out my numbers. So the biggest screw you to mill is in one of the aggro decks. They have access to a Eldrazi reshuffle effect. That's probably problematic. The second best aggro deck is just too fast. It's too fast for even blue black that has a lot of like target kill. Um, there are ways to win it. I'll get to that in a minute, but I definitely am all about keeping it blue. I'm mono blue all the way. I've stood on that hill very against the grain. What little I tested before, changes were made, and I just kind of fell out of like touch with how much I enjoy playing the deck, and I enjoy going and playing. Today's tournament, we're gonna be going down there. She's gonna meet me there after work, and I'm gonna go play. I have a buddy I can borrow the cards I'm missing for the main deck, and I've got some throwaway cards for side deck right now, just to get back in the feel of correctly playing Magic, right? But so the biggest thing with the deck is 8 crabs. Got to run the 4 Hedrons, got to run the 4 Rune. They do exactly the same thing. And they're one's a 2-butt, but one's a 3-butt. The 2-butt can die after sideboarding from the blue-red aggro deck, but they can't touch the other one. So that's definitely something that's a plus. Instead of drowning in the log like in blue-black, I run a just straight clean playset of counterspells. Okay. And then I run Preordains because they are no longer banned. Lands, I need to pick up another Flooded, but 8 fetches, the rest islands. The one thing I know I am going to do, and I have my notes behind my recording screen here, so I'm going to pull these up. I'm going to be running 1 Oboro, Place in the Clouds, 1 Otawara, Soaring City, and 1 Shelldock Isle for non-basics. And Oboro is one that bounces. Otawara for 3 and a blue. You can channel it, discard it from your hand, and you can bounce anything. Enchantment, creature, planeswalker, artifact. That'd be for stopping a problematic Teferi before he ults. And then a Shell Shock turns any of my 3 casting cost mill cards into 1 casting cost mill cards. And then the card that I do not have access to right now, but I'm definitely going to run the sideboard, is a card called Consign to Memory, which is a instant speed blue, replicate 1 colorless, counter target triggered ability, or colorless spell. Now, that is going to be a 4 of in the sideboard, because the only straight up this is played in almost every deck are the elementals from Modern Horizons 3. Consigned to Memory stops their triggered ability, which stops their ability to negate and shuffle your Melon Endurance. The green one negates it. So it takes a matchup like Amulet Titan that's almost impossible and makes it a free win. Just counter the primeval and you're good. I've been thinking a lot about keeping Snapcaster Mages in sideboard and bringing them in that matchup that I know they can't beat me turn 5, turn 6, which is most decks. You have enough life to use as your resource and to run the clock to get to 5 and 6 mana. 5 and 6 mana, your Snapcaster Mage and another Tasha's Hideous Laughter twice in a game. Against the aggro decks, you're winning. Tasha's is they exile the top card until they exile 20 converted mana cost total cards, and everything except for one card in the second best aggro deck is one casting cost. You hit them with 2 Tashas, you win. So that matchup isn't bad. I would say that like my biggest need, and I will put even the cards I don't have. My biggest need is going to be where you think, based on description, where you think, or just based on how you would build your 60, if my numbers are okay. Because I get into the mentality where I'm like, for this. And I know right off the bat that the Planeswalker I'm running, which is Jace, the Completed Mind, or the Perfected Mind, this guy right here, I'm probably going to put one in sideboard or just take one completely out. He's good. The turn he comes into play, he can mill 15 for 3, for 4 mana or 3 mana and 2 life, because Phyrexian mana. I have Sanity Grindings in here because I'm running Tasha's, which is double pip. I'm running Fractured Sanities, which is triple pipped. Counterspells that are double pipped. Like, I have enough pips, and I'm running a small amount of land in comparison, right? I've even been toggling the idea of running a basic per fetch. And then the 3, so 8, 8, 16, 3, so 21 mana total. And just running low, because 3 is like my expensive side. And if I'm at a point where I have to go full control mode, the game's probably over for me anyways. Graveyard Hate, I have set aside. I have Soul Guiding Lanterns, and I'm not too sure on them. I also have Maddening Cacophony, which has a kicked ability for 4 and 2 blue, so 6. You mill half their deck, and that, I think, works in the sideboard for your like blue-white, for your control matchups, because you can go long against control, especially like blue-white control, which is the second best control deck in the game. Chuck surprise, right? So yeah, I really want a numbers game, because the biggest reason that I wanted to go mono blue is, and the reason I built this deck was a couple years ago when they unbanned Preordain, because it just gives me that. It Preordain is such a good card, right? Like, it fixes so many problems, and like a lot of my play group are like, it's not instant speed, and there are times when playing the deck online, because I can rent the whole deck for a month for $3 on Magic Online, so that's where I test it. But I want to go play it in paper. I want to go play with my peers. I want to go play with my friends, right? I want to enjoy Magic like I used to, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's matchups where like it's worth taking out the Preordain and running something else. Like, if I'm in a bind to where I need to full board Consign to Memory because I'm just having trouble with evokes, I don't need the Preordain, as much as I need that. But then there's matchups like Urzatron, where you want to keep the Preordains to make sure you get that Consign on turn 2, by turn 3 at the latest. Because the turn 3 is when they're going to start doing stuff where Consign to Memory matters. So it's a number game. Fitting everything I need to be able to answer everything in the 75 is where I'm struggling. And I know there are just mill cards that I can't give up. Tasha's I can't give up. Archive Trap I can't give up. The Crabs I can't give up, because it's too much incremental. I don't even know the word I'm trying to use. It's too much needed little bit to get yourself, especially like there's always that random side of playing mill where it could be a bad matchup, but you hit their answers, right? And with something like Tasha's that exiles, like it's gone. So it's a lot of it's a number game. And if I know anybody that was good with fucking fitting shit into decks, it was Dad. Dad, my dad was the person to go to get shit fit in. So I'm gonna put the list of what I have in my head and any extra cards. Um, to get your opinion on the numbers and what you think. Um, I've invested money and time in this deck. You know, I I don't mind investing more. Um, it is definitely the modern deck besides Boros Burn that I just win or lose. It's a fun experience for me. Not so much my opponent, but most people like understand that like getting mad at Mill is like getting mad at a toddler who can't comprehend the world because like it's not going to win most of the time, right? Oh yeah, consigned memory stops landless Belcher too. Mono blue Belcher. That's another one. So let me go through the list real quick, and I'll tell you. I'll give a short description because you're knowledgeable. You understand, even with new cards, you understand like what the deck does. You know what Urzatron does. You know what blue white control does, and then Eldrazi Ramp is a green red colorless ramp deck that controls you. Death and Taxes and aggro is Death and Taxes, the ones that make things cost more, but they're 2/2 and 3/3 beaters, and mono white most of the time, sometimes slash black. Blue red aggro is just Monastery Spirit, Dragon Chandler, and one other card, and it's just Munogenic Growth and pump, 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 and swing. That's all that does. And then Affinity does exactly what Affinity would do. And then Amulet Titan, Primeval Titan, instant reanimator is about getting the Archangel, the Phyrexian Angel attracts in play, and just keeping your resource, having more than your opponent. And then Brood Scale, Blood Chief isn't even a combo deck in my fucking opinion. You just kill the Brood Scale and the whole combo falls apart. It's one of those kind of combos where if one piece doesn't work, it just dies. The less played but are there decks are mono black aggro. Boros aggro is still there. It's that version that we talked about a while ago that uses the fucking energies from Kaladesh, from the Kaladesh block. Hollowed One is still around. Underground Cookbook or Underworld Cookbook is still around. Arc Phoenix, Red Deck wins. Those typical things. Band aggro, Selesnya aggro. Esper Control still there. Jessica Control, Demir Control still around. And then there's Landless, Ruby Storm, which Consigned to Memory just shits on Storm. Any Storm deck, you just consign to Memory and they lose. So it's for how long you haven't played, like there's still things you're very familiar with. Hammer Time, you know, fucking Kiki Jiki's back, and it's doing so not well. Reanimator is still a thing. Reanimator is very different from back in the day. Reanimator is very much like just playing these weird ass 8 casting costs and playing, the new ones are playing Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man specifically. But it's a lot of the same old, different names, same color, same way of being played. Aggro still plays like aggro. Control plays like control. Maybe different creatures in the colors that you're familiar with, but they still play pretty much the same. So, yeah, I will get this typed out, and I won't give you numbers. I'll just give you. Actually, I'll give you the 75, and then I'll give you any extras, and then we'll go from there. And I'll respond to any comment you make, and later tonight, especially after the tournament. And I'll tell you how I did. I don't expect you to do good, just because like I've been playing, a lot of One Piece, and a lot of Pokemon, and a lot of Union Arena, and I'm really good at Union Arena, and I'm really good at One Piece, and I know that I'm decent at Magic and decent at Pokemon, but you get to a point where you stretch yourself too thin, and skills have to waver somewhere, because you can't just be super good at all of them all the time. That's not how the real world works. But I do have pretty sleeves though. Like I very much have. This has been my baby for a while now, so I will shoot over what I got, and go from there. I think, on a side note, I think that there's no reason to run the anti-graveyard stuff, just because of oh, goodness. Sorry, I just got off work. Because of consign to memory, it stops endurance, and that's the biggest like shuffle problem. I don't think you can stop the. You wouldn't be able to stop the Eldrazi, but like, if they're getting to the point where they can use the Eldrazi's to shovel everything back in, you're losing that game anyways, right? Like, yeah, I could slow it down with surgical. Yeah, technically surgical doesn't have to be black, it can be pain for life, but I want to be mono blue. I want all the cards to be blue. And if I lose more than I win because of that, then so be it. You know what? Like, I'm not going to win no fucking big ass tournament. I just want to play an archetype that I know my father loves, that I love, and I want to play the colors I want to play them. If I could play it with white, I would, because I love my Azorius. But I'd rather just keep it blue, keep it simple, stupid. So yeah, I will type out. I'll type out this deck list, and I can't wait to hear from you. Stacy said thank you. She is so fucking ecstatic that you guys liked it. Yeah, your grandson's doing good. The oldest grandbaby, Molly, running around being a terror. The new grandbaby, Max, is going through colic, just like Molly did. So it's been pretty rough on the kid. We Most of our time we spend together is through Discord and the camera, because it's just that simple. It's simpler, but yep. I appreciate you letting me ramble and 19-minute video. I hope it's not too long, but I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.